Alrighty, before we talk about Rob Manfred, we want to go on record with one of the best relievers in minor league baseball, Joe Record, and we're going to be talking with a prospect for the Houston Astros. He pitched last year for Corpus Christi Hooks. Joe Record will be talking to him on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and Instagram, at Astros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros. And this week, I want y'all to know that February 17th, next Thursday, we will be live at the Social Beer Garden with Locked On Rockets, Locked On Texans. It's going to be an hour-long podcast with us in person. If you want to come hang out with us, great drinks, great food, and better fellowship, hanging out with your boys from all the great shows. It's going to be an H-Town takeover. So come check us out. February 17th. Go to our Twitter or Instagram to look up the address, and we will see you there next Thursday night, the 17th of February.
All right. So,
All right. So go ahead. And so joining us, Eric was like, why don't you throw it to him? We have Joe Record. Joe, tell us where they can find you on Twitter.
What's up, guys? I'm Joe Record, and I'm not certain what my Twitter name is. I think it's at Joe Record. I think it's pretty simple.
Yes, it's at Joe Record _. So we got that. Yeah, check him out. He followed us, and how we got you on the show was we. I saw that you either followed the show or you followed me or something. I was like, hey, I'm gonna reach out to this guy, and we had recently talked to one of your buddies, Jimmy Endersby, and so word gets around that you guys know each other. And you had said you saw the show and you were willing to come on. So Eric and I wanted to bring you on so we could talk a little bit of baseball.
Yeah, it was a great show. You guys were fun to listen to with Jimmy, so I had to meet you guys virtually.
All righty. All right. So I know that you weren't really drafted by the Houston Astros, and we're not going to fault you for that. That wasn't your fault. But you're drafted by the Twins, and then you kind of found your way here. So what was it like when you were drafted by the Twins back in 2017?
So, I mean, it was a dream come true at the time. So that was my redshirt junior year, and I tore my UCL the third week of the season. And so when you're on your senior year, you're like, oh, like I got to do something great to get drafted. And you get injured that early, you think that things aren't going to work out for you, and you think that all the teams are going to be out or whatever. And so a couple of weeks before the draft, I emailed all the teams that were interested in me and said, hey, well, I'm going to need Tommy John surgery if you draft me. And half of them said, all right, we don't really want you. The other half said, all right, we still got our eyes on you. And then the Twins called me, and they decided to pick me up, and I was very grateful for that. It was awesome.
All right,
so you made your way to the Astros through the Rule 5 draft. They actually
correct the minor league Rule 5 phase.
Okay. So there's a minor league and there is a major league Rule 5. Now, when you made that transition from the Twins to the Astros, and with the Astros' more recent success, did that excite you a little bit, going to a ball club that had championship caliber and had guys coming up through the minor leagues that were, already being highly touted?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you play this game to win. So when a team that has such great history and winning success recently, you get excited to get picked up by that team.
So I see that you made a little brief stint with the I believe it was in the Ranger system. Was that mostly was that really a brief stint, or was that or isn't that where? Because I saw that you're with the Round Rock Express for a little bit, right?
Oh, that's funny. So when the minor league Rule 5 happens, they have to place you on the AAA team of the team that drafts you. And so at the time, the Astros were the Round Rock Express.
Oh,
And
okay.
so it's like a spot filler kind of for the offseason. So they have to place you on that AAA roster. And so they placed me there, and it's kind of just fake. It doesn't really mean much, just like a roster spot. And
Okay.
then I went to spring training as normal. It's
So
confusing.
what's interesting is I looked at that and now it actually says Sugarland Skeeters.
Yeah, they probably
And
yeah.
yeah, they change it and now it needs to be Sugarland Space Cowboys. So
Yeah, how
I
awesome is
guess
that?
yeah, I mean talk to us about that. Like do you like the? I mean, Skeeters. There are some people trying to be dyed the wool Skeeters fans. Like, I'm always a Skeeter. I'm like, no, you're not. You probably went to one game in your independent league. You probably don't even know what the mascot's name is. But I mean, kind of a cool name. The Digs are looking good. Corey Lee and the boys looking good in them. What do you
Dude,
think as a player?
absolutely. Corey Lee and Donato look great in them. And the emblem is sick. Like that little astronaut thing, astronaut cowboy, that's awesome. I love it.
I think he's auditioning for a role with the Sugarland Cowboy Space Cowboys this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are, yeah, definitely, yeah. We
Absolutely.
um we talked to Jimmy about possibly making it up there with Hunter Brown, and heck, you would be great for you to follow. I noticed when you moved up to Corpus, you dropped your ERA. You were basically in 2019 you were 4-4 with 5.07 ERA. And I noticed when you went to Corpus, overall, you were 5-2 at the 3.36 ERA. You had a couple holds, um, and it looks like your strikeouts were pretty consistent across the board. What do you say is your strength on the mound as a pitcher? Are you a tool like? Do you have one or two pitches that you go to? Do you have a full arsenal? What's your approach on the mound?
Yeah, so it's a little different. So this year they started as a starter, and that was the first time as a starter since college. And so I kind of had to change my attack plan. In 2019, as a reliever, I was more of a just fastball slider and a curveball here and there. Um, and I tried just doing that, and it was okay. Obviously, not great with that 5 ERA. And then as I transitioned to a starter, I kept the fastball and the slider were the same. I changed the curveball up a little bit, a lot more consistent with that. And then I added a changeup. And I think that four helped a lot. Um, and just getting more comfortable pitching because in 2019, that was the first year I've thrown since my Tommy John surgery. So I was kind of still knocking off the cobwebs. So just getting more comfortable now. And I think that going into this next year, I'll stay in the bullpen and I'll be a reliever. And with that, I'll probably primarily be fastball, slider, curveball, and maybe a changeup. It's kind of hard to throw all four out of the pen.
All right, so I know that a lot of prospects, especially, were hurt with the 2020 COVID shortened season, especially with there not being a minor league system. What were you doing during that season?
Well, I was blessed to be born and raised in Orange County, and there's a lot of people there, and with that, there was a lot of professional baseball players there, and so I was able to surround myself with a lot of guys that were in the same situation. And then there were a lot of great fields that I could go throw at, and we threw lives. We had lives like once a week, twice a week, so we were getting our work in for sure.
So, what has been the value of being with the Astros organization in Corpus? I know Jimmy, Brett Canine, Pete Solomon, all these pitchers that I've talked to, Brandon Belak when he was back with the Express, when it was still the AAA squad, they all have the same thing to say that they absolutely love the coaching, they love the preparation. What has been your favorite thing? Is there a particular coach that you look at to? I mean, of course, I know they're all important, but is there
Yeah.
someone who really sticks out in your mind that's really helped you progress as a pitcher?
So this last year being my first year, I got to meet a lot of the coaches, but I didn't get to work with a lot of them. I worked with Graham Johnson a whole lot this past year, and he was fantastic. He built my confidence, helped me with some mechanical changes, some pitch sequencing stuff, how to attack hitters. And yeah, I thought he was fantastic.
Sometimes you just got to build up your pitch count and your pitches and like having a built bar. So, Brett, tell us about Built Bar.
So it's February, folks, and this is the time of year where people's New Year's resolutions are falling like, I don't know, Houston Texans non-wins. I don't know. I just know that the city is in need of a football team that probably needs built bars. Joe Burrow is probably going to go get a built bar and win this weekend in the Super Bowl. But what's great about built bars are not just bars; they are candy bars that are wrapped in 100% chocolate. They're infused with protein. If you get the built puff, it's marshmallow infused with protein, 17 grams of it. I mean, why would you argue about eating that? Or why would you even go to a candy bar or something else that's chalky, that's filling, that doesn't give you what you need? 130 calories, 4 grams of net carbs, 4 grams of sugar, and 17 grams of protein average per bar. This is where it's at, pre-workout, post-workout, or during. Whether you're throwing a live bullpen, whether you're throwing in a game, Joe Recker can go to his bag and grab a Built Bar, whether it's mint brownie, coconut almond, white chocolate cookies and cream. Every month they have specials. They have special runs. They have bars that they're selling extras that they've got to get rid of. Discounts galore. But what I want you to do is make sure you get a discount on your first purchase. Go to built.com and use the promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. Use that promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off at built.com. They're the best bar in the biz.
It's Super Week, brought to you by Get Upside, and there's no better place to get coverage of the big game than the Locked On NFL podcast. Locked On Bengals and Locked On Rams are in LA all week covering the big game. And thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Where it's on YouTube, make sure you've subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, go subscribe. What are you waiting for? And make sure you give us a like. And on your way to work, on your way home from work, go and listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Listen to the Locked On Astros podcast. Go on record. Let us know that you make us your first listen by using the first listen hashtag. So, Brett, let's go and get back to this interview.
Yeah, definitely. Joe, I'm sorry, Eric, were you wanting to go into a question there?
No,
Okay.
I
All
was
right.
talking to you.
So, okay, good. I just want to make sure I interrupt. In 2022, right now, obviously the looming, 800-pound gorilla is, will Major League Baseball start on time? Rob Manfred said he would. But minor league baseball is still a go. And especially for guys that are not on the 40-man roster, still a go. What have you been in communication with the Hooks? Have y'all been in communication with the coaches? Do y'all have arrival dates, or has it been a lot of mum because of what's going on in the big leagues?
Yeah. So for me right now, I haven't got much communication with arrival dates and when I should show up. But throughout this whole off season, we've been communicating with the coaches on what to do, like mechanical changes. I send in video twice a week, so they're helping us out with that aspect of getting better. But when it comes to report dates and like the info you guys want to know, they don't really tell us that.
Yeah, I think they probably don't really know because typically they coincide with the Major League spring
Correct.
training camp and it's at the same facility. And so I think they're waiting until the last possible minute. So you may get a phone call and said, "Hey, Joe, we need you in camp in 2 days.
Yeah.
Can you be there?"
Yeah.
And you'll be like, "Yeah, sure, I'll be there," just because
Absolutely.
you want to be there at camp, just because you love to play baseball. And so I know that you said that maybe some of the mechanical changes were some of your reasons behind the success in 2021. But what else did you feel changed in 2021 that made you a better pitcher overall?
What else changed? So obviously, just the reps are huge. So getting off the mound again for more than one season after a Tommy John surgery was huge. But I think my increased like percentage usage for my my breaking pitches. So I was throwing my slider more, I was throwing my curveball more, and my fastball was kind of on the back burner. And I was throwing my slider at some games like 30, 40% of the time. And that's when I found like the most success for myself. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, and I know we have we have our big game pitcher up here, Lance McCullers with the club, and he's got the notorious 26 or 27 straight curveballs or
Yeah.
24 straight curveballs, and then after TJ he had to adjust, and it sounds like those are some adjustments because they say you pitch differently. One of the fun things Lance told us about was when Zach Greinke, we asked him to share a funny story with us about what Zach Greinke said, and Zach Greinke told him to basically stop. Was it his four seam? He told him to stop throwing, um,
I think
and
so.
uh, and he said, well, because he was like, how do I fix it? He's like, just stop throwing it. It's like a terrible pitch. You don't do it well. And so, with that being said, going into this next year, you get to face a lot of the guys that are on your team. You get to face, the Joe Perez's and those guys that are down there that are coming up. What hitters do you think are someone that Astros fans would be excited to see if they come down to Corpus or see one of their games on the road in Texas that you faced or you just seen firsthand that they just are electric at the plate?
um, Alex McKenna. I faced McKenna in spring training, and he turned me around pretty good. I it was kind of a low line drive. It was hit really hard. I told my mom it was during a live batter, so there was no position players out there. And I told my mom, yeah, the shortstop probably caught that, but in reality, it probably went through the shortstop's glove. But
Wow.
yeah, Alex McKenna, he actually had an injury last year that kind of put him on the bench for a little bit, but I'm excited to see him come back.
Looking at your stats, I'm really impressed with in 116 minor league innings, you've only given up 6 home runs. Is that something that you pride yourself on? Are you more of a ground ball? I don't know. Why I said that, but ground ball type pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose so. I just try to keep it out of the air as best as possible, but I do pitch up in the zone, so it's kind of weird. I mean, I'm not going to question it. I don't want the balls to go over the fence either,
Right.
so I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully it keeps working.
Well, and that's what I've learned too. Maybe it has something to do with the way the ball comes out of your hand. And
Yeah,
I know pitchers have various things. I know when Christian Javier first broke into the league in the 2020 season, he basically one of his pitches they call the invisible because they say it's so hard to pick up the ball out of your hand. When you are on the mound, let's say you're on the mound and you go out in the game and you're just nailing it down, you're getting guys out, and then you go out and you just feel like guys are seeing the ball well. Are you just making adjustments from game to game? Literally, like every time you go out, you're looking at your last appearance, or do you have to put that away and compartmentalize so you don't focus on that going into another outing?
so I'll do a combination of both. So I will look back at the game. I will look at the data because we get all the TrackMan and Rapsodo data, and I'll see why I was getting hit around. Because with all the data nowadays, it's less of a guessing game on why pitches are good. Like with like that invisible thing, I'm sure we'll have a pitching coach that can explain that, whether it's his spin rates or his vertical approach angle or whatever. So I'll look back on my outing if I had like statistical numbers that like the technology was telling me I was doing something really different. Then I'll go back to the drawing board and work on that before the next start.
Yeah. So I'm looking at your stats, and there wasn't a lot of difference between 2019 and 2021. I mean, you pitched in a lot fewer games, I guess. Your batting average against was a little bit higher. Actually, your OPS against was a little bit lower in 2019. So it just, but your overall, I guess you allowed more hits in 2019
Yeah.
per se, but yeah, so you definitely had a little bit of growth, and I think we'll see some more growth in 2022. So, what do you expect with the jump from Double A to Triple A in terms of the quality of hitters?
I think they're going to be more patient. I think you're not going to get away with breaking balls too far in the dirt, because that's the biggest thing that I've seen just from low A to high to double A, is each level the hitters are getting more patient even with 2 strikes. They're not chasing the 50-foot curveballs. They're chasing the 59-foot curveballs. It's just those little small things. I think that's the biggest difference between really good hitters and just good hitters.
One of the things I picked up on watching a lot of AAA baseball these last couple of years, more than I've ever got to watch growing up, from like 44 to 46, that's how old I am. I've seen more minor league baseball than I saw my entire life up to that point.
Yeah.
But one of the things I've noticed is it seems like AAA seems to be the hitters league. Double A seems to be the pitchers league because I think the notion is the guys in Double A are touching 97, 98 a lot. The guys in Triple A, not all of them are touching that high, but they're working on their stuff. And you more have your hitters that are on the cusp of being major league players. There's a lot more hitting that goes on because the pitchers, if they are great, they are able to make those jumps pretty quickly from Triple A to the majors. Have you seen that because, with the variation in your stats, that the hitters just get more competitive as they rise up in the ranks? Or do you think, I mean, have you known that to be true where it seems to be a pitcher's league in double A and more hitters in triple A or?
Yeah. And I think the biggest reason might surprise you. I don't know, you guys might know this, but in AAA they started using the big league balls. So
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Okay.
so they fly way differently. And so if you have like a 5 ERA in AAA, that's pretty damn good. Because a lot of these places, Albuquerque, Vegas, the ball
Ball
flies
flies.
there
Yeah.
with the elevation, and
Right.
then you add the big league balls, it's going to go even farther. So
Oh.
yeah,
It depends on which big league ball they're using, right? Because apparently Major League Baseball uses two baseballs. We just found that out. So
yeah,
Yeah.
that's always fun to talk about.
they like to keep us on our toes, I guess.
Right. We don't know when the season will start, but I wonder if BetOnline would have some odds on that. Brett, tell us about BetOnline.
BetOnline is the place for all the betting action this season. More props, odds, and lines than ever before. Football continues to march to the playoffs. And if you're going to bet that Joe Burrow becomes the first player to win a national championship, a Heisman Trophy, and a Super Bowl championship in his career, then you need to go to BetOnline. If you're going to bet on whether Rob Manfred's going to make good on him saying that the season's going to start on time, go place a bet there. BetOnline.net remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcast, and news this season. And it's not just football. BetOnline has up to the minute pro and college hoops. Hoops in Houston is big, whether it's U of H, whether it's Rice, whether it's TSU, all the great schools here, NHL, boxing, UFC, along with live real-time updates of current games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the new, amazing offers available for the 2022 season. Bet online, where the game starts.
All right, Joe, I think I did this with Jimmy as well. I want to give you a moment to kind of tell anybody out there who kind of helped you get to where you are, your parents, coaches, just kind of get on your soapbox for a second and just tell them thanks.
Yeah, yeah. I don't do this enough, so thank you for giving me the opportunity. I think first and foremost, my parents, my mom and dad, they've sacrificed so much for me, like whether financially, emotionally, travel, going everywhere. They haven't missed it. They didn't miss a little league game growing up, a high school game. It's kind of hard to make all these minor league games, so they missed a few of these, but they try to make it out as much as they can, and they're always calling me and supporting me. So I just want to thank them.
That's awesome, man. And so I know, so growing up, and we'll kind of wrap it up here. These last couple of questions. When did you realize that you were going to compete for possibly being in the major leagues, for being drafted? Is that something you realized early on, or was that something that took a while for you to go, okay, you know what? I'm gonna make it. Like, I'm gonna get drafted. When did you realize that?
Well, so when I was about 5, I knew it,
Love
and
it.
then as the years went on, that that no turned into a now I hope, and then when I got that no back and that more confidence back in it, I think that was like the year after my Tommy John surgery, when I finally got to be on the mound again. I was like, okay, now I just got to go. Now this is it. Like, I've gotten this opportunity. I'm very grateful for. Most teams passed on me, so now I just get to go and just get to have fun and let's just compete. And so I think the year of after my Tommy John surgery.
All right. So, what are 3 things about Joe Record that's not baseball related about you as a person?
3 things. Okay. I'm a gamer, video gamer. I actually just bought a video game laptop. It came in today. So stoked on that. I wish I got the webcam going so I wouldn't be holding this and shaking this around. 2, I hunt. I'm not that good at it, but I like being outside and hunting. California is also very hard to hunt. Well, deer. It's hard to hunt deer out there. 3rd interesting facts about me. I could say fishing, but that's the same as hunting pretty much. It's not that fun.
Are you a surfer, a wakeboarder?
Oh, dude, I can't do those extreme sports, man.
Isn't that what Jimmy said too?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
Jimmy
You
did
guys
say
are
that.
like, you
I was
guys are
not
not.
good on boards. I mean, I
No way.
tried. I got hurt.
You're
Wasn't
like,
good.
no way, brah.
I was good at Heelys. Do you guys know those?
Yes, I know Heelys. As a teacher, I know Heelys. Yes, they were an issue for some time.
Yeah.
Quit,
So
quit
I'm thinking
skating through
about
the
getting another
hallway.
pair of those.
There you go.
But I think our pitching coordinator would be mad at me, so we'll see.
Well, hey, and we may have to remedy that whole hunting thing. There's a ton of deer leases out here, and
Yeah.
we've got a deer lease down in Zavala County, which is like 60 miles from the border. So yeah, man, like you have to check it out. Talk to people when you're in Texas. Hey, you got a deer lease? I'll come hang out with you. So
Yeah,
I have to do that
that's
sometime.
what I got to do. That's a good plan. You got to
So
set
when
me up with these guys.
yeah, when you were growing up, what baseball player did you idolize?
Oh, it's easy. So I was in Orange County, so I'm a huge Angel fan, and that was when Vladimir Guerrero was doing his thing.
Nice.
And so now I just want to face his son. I think that'd be awesome.
I thought you were going to say JT Snow or Tim Solomon or somebody like that.
Tim Salmon. No,
No,
I was
I
a
think they
Vladdy
were
guy.
probably before, weren't they?
Yeah, probably. He's
No,
Weren't you
probably too
like?
young for that.
I was still watching him. That Tim Salmon was when I was a little younger, but Vladdy was just the dude, man. You could not like Vladdy.
Right.
All he wanted to do was hit, even balls.
I went to Angel Stadium when they renamed it Edmonds Field right after, and the Angels were terrible. And we bought tickets from a homeless guy
Yeah.
that sold them to us for like $8. I'm not lying. And the people are like, "How much you pay for those tickets?" I said $8. They're like, "Oh man, we were trying to help that guy out. We told him to sell these for $50 a piece."
Oh wow.
We got say $8. We sat behind Billy Hatcher as the first base coach of the Rays and Mo Vaughn. And
Mo Vaughn.
I don't remember who the Angels had, but that was a really cool experience. So I've gotten to see that stadium firsthand. That was fun.
That's cool.
Hey, Joe, we're about to have to hop off and do a separate podcast, but I wanted to ask you one question. Rob Manfred announced that it's going to be universal DH from now on as a pitcher. Is that a good thing for you?
No, I mean, and being in the American League, it wouldn't have mattered too much. I mean, I always wanted to hit a big league pitcher, but I think it's a good thing for my dignity. They would probably make me look terrible, and if they threw me a breaking ball, I'd probably hurt myself. So yeah, overall, I think it's a good thing.
All right. So Joe Record, once again, let's try it again. Where can you find you on Twitter? And thank you for coming on the show.
Hi, my name's Joe Record. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Record _. Got that one.
Nailed it. Great
There we
job, kid. You're hired.
Hey, thank you for having me, guys. This was awesome.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We appreciate it. And hey, maybe we'll have you on during the regular season. We'd be call it On the Record with Joe Record,
Oh
So
yeah,
make
that's
a
great.
little thing out of it. So good luck this off season.
Thank
Good
you.
luck this season. And hopefully if we're able to make it down to Corpus, we'll let you know. Once you make it to Sugarland,
Hey, hopefully he'll be in Sugarland.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, I'm just saying, Corpus, Sugarland, wherever you're at, we'll try to touch base with you during the season for sure.
Sounds good. And then we could line up some hunts.
Yes. Let's go.
All righty, guys. That's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. We'll be back with another one soon. And go Stros. Thank you, Joe, once again.
Take care, guys. Bye.